Hey party people, what is up, what is up, what is up? Mr. Challenge GX coming at you here with some news update regarding the server, the state of the game. But before we dive in, I do want to give you guys an update regarding the channel. If you guys notice, things kind of been slow here, not a whole lot of videos. That's because I've been taking a break from the game. Part of it due to just not being interested a whole lot into the game. We haven't got any meaningful content in a while. And also part of it, I've been playing a whole lot of Pokemon Pocket. The Switch is around the corner, so my focus and my attention has been elsewhere. And honestly, I've been having a great time just not thinking about Dofus Touch. But I do want to try to keep up with it to the point where, I get some information delivered to you guys. Because there's been, even though there hasn't been a whole lot of things going on, there's been a lot of things going on at the same time. So that's a little update from me, but let's dive right in here. A more spontaneous announcement to bring you up to speed in our progress. Server merger balancing's forthcoming updates. We've got everything you want to know about our challenges and future ambitions. Well, that doesn't sound too promising there. Hello everyone, just a small, more spontaneous than usual update because why not? Here is the latest. And yeah, so server merger, it should have happened by now. It looks like they're hitting some snags, some hurdles, but let's see what they have to say here. It should come as no surprise to anyone, but the server merger didn't happen during the first quarter as scheduled. Unfortunately, since it came out, update 1.68 has continued to require the attention of several team members to resolve all the issues as soon as possible. We posted some explanations about this topic a few days ago. So this, I've, no pun intended, I have been a little bit out of touch with this kind of stuff. The few times I have popped into Discord, I do see people bringing up, the game is more buggier than usual ever since the update, not as responsive and stuff like that. So I guess this is it going over here. Okay. So I don't know what happened. I don't. They were supposed to. The update was literally just like a class tweak balancing right, and then I don't know. They broke the game. Our goal is to offer you a game that is nice enough to play as possible, which isn't exactly the case with all the freezing and latency, and that's not the only thing. In addition, and to be completely transparent, the deadlines we announced were once again too optimistic because we have encountered new snags along the way. This was an error in our judgment and communication that we will make an effort to correct in the future. Moreover, this is a topic we discuss for the project overall regarding our planning for the coming years. We always try to do our utmost to make the game better, and we aren't short on ideas. Rather, it's a question of time needed to implement everything right. We will need to give ourselves a little bit more leeway to account for any further unexpected circumstances and to make sure we can stick to our plans in the event issues arise. Nevertheless, work on the merger continues to progress little by little, and a first concrete phase will be launched within a few days with the Tiller 1 players. However, we won't risk giving you a more exact date this time, lest we lead you astray again. Please know that this remains priority number one after the fixes to the last update. In the meantime, we will be launching a new season of Ascension Island in the coming days. Honestly, it makes sense. Obviously, they're putting a lot of time and attention for this. The more work they do now is the less we have to be worried about rollbacks, things breaking, and dealing with just something that just exponentially gets worse because they didn't do the work up front. It sucks that it's not here, but it's understandable, and I'm glad they're being communicative about this too. Just not leaving the community in the dark. I'm glad they're doing this, and as a player, it's totally understandable, right? We all want this to go as smooth as possible, right? The last thing we want is rollbacks and bugs, glitches. So I'm good with that. I'm good with that. The last beta. The last beta phase and class balancing in particular was very eventful and not in a good way. We took some time to discuss this among our team, and we are going to make an announcement before the next beta in order to make things easier for your sake and ours. There will be several objectives, the main ones being to manage and respond your feedback better, to improve interaction with the international community. Oh, that is cool. You know what? Something I am a little cynical. Is cynical the right word? Jaded about is because we all know the English community is very small, right? I see people posting, especially during beta, and I see people posting in the suggestions Discord, right? Really cool, like really well thought out ideas that should be implemented. But I do feel a lot of the ideas and the effort that people put into feedback and suggestions does get overlooked by the mere fact, like, it doesn't really matter, right? This feedback's coming from a very, very small portion of the player base of the game, to the point where, like, I kind of get it from their ends. Like, yeah, these people in English are suggesting this stuff, but it doesn't really, right? It's muted. It's muted by the fact that, like, only like 100 people from the English community play this game, right? So I'm glad they're making a point out of this, because there are some really good ideas there. Like, I read everything, right? Even though I don't interact a whole lot on Discord, I read everything, and it sucks to realize we're like, yo, this is a really cool idea, but it sucks. It's not gonna be taken into consideration at all by the mere fact that it's coming from such a small portion of the player base, right? So I hope we start seeing at least something in this regard, because something I did notice, and I might be wrong, but during this latest update, there was a lot of quality of life updates that came from the community. And they had, I don't know if I could bring it up here. I don't want to dig around and make the video long. But it seemed like a lot of the feedback they implemented were from the French community, right? And this is just me basing it based on the username that they post. Oh, this guy posted this. It's like, oh, we're going to implement that, right? It seemed like it was just from the French community. It makes sense. It makes sense from their end, right, to do so. Because English community, international community, however you want to call it, it's just like such a small percentage of the player base. So hopefully we could see some stuff being implemented. It'd be nice if they call it out too. Hey, this was suggested by a member of the international community. Oh, we're gonna implement this cool idea, right? So I, for one, would like to see something like that happen. So to have longer beta periods for these balancing updates, which was generally the case up to this point. We will remain attentive to your feedback about the latest balancings, and we will take time to analyze all the different data so that we can make adjustments during the next update should it be necessary. Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. So far, I'm on board with all this. Rest of the year. The increasing delay from the latest event and the slower than planned merger is clearly going to impact work announced in the last missive. The current takeaway. A part of the content planned for the next major update around June-July will be pushed back and include with the following update around September. We prefer to inform you about it now, even if you aren't familiar with the content in question. The Mimis Symbic revamp will likely be pushed back to 2026. The most involved Coliseum changes remain up in the air, which was already the case, but it's even more so than now. The Labyrinth and the other work announced in the missive are still slated for 2025 for the time being, which includes the sidekicks and the hero system. It still ought to be very big, beautiful 2025 for Dofus Touch. Uh, well, see, here's my thing though. Like, I get it. I get it that, unforeseen challenges and hurdles are affecting their timelines and their ability to deliver uh, set milestone dates, right? I get it. But the thing is like the thing I don't get, right? So in my waving video, and then I posted like a community post about it too. Todd released the numbers for the users, the monthly users for the game, right? And it seemed very strong. Like let's take those numbers for face value for what they are. I think for February there was like 60,000 active users on Dofus Touch. All right, forget about bots, multi-accounting. Let's assume that number is right. Right, 60,000 players for a game on for this game is pretty substantial, right? That's a pretty big number. That's a sign that the game is doing well. The game is healthy, right? So why not scale the team to reflect that, right? Because it seems like they're bottlenecking themselves with the size of the dev team, and this is just pure speculation on my end, right? Because like I said at the beginning of the video, a lot of my attention right now has been going towards uh, the Pokemon trading card game Pocket, and that game up literally we get an update like every month. Every month there's like little stuff in between. The game is just constantly updating, and you know what the game's making me want to do? It keeps me within the game, right? And and the fact that all right, so we're not getting an update for summer, but whatever we're getting in summer, we're getting in fall. So this game has a really knack of like just going long periods of no updates, which makes me question that monthly active user number, because like shoot man, the whole a big appeal for this game is the constant update, right? You got to keep up with them. If you don't keep up with them, you're gonna fall behind, right? There's the whole factor of FOMO. Right now, I'm taking a break from the game, and I don't feel like I'm missing much, right? There's nothing really, uh, I wouldn't say forcing me, but there's nothing really grabbing my attention where, like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't take a break. Maybe I need to keep up with this stuff. But now it's like, okay, so now the way I take this is like, okay, so we're not going to have a meaningful update until September. That's a huge gap of time right there. And I can see how people were like, you know what, there's really nothing engaging me. And it's like, you're just going to lose those players, right? That's what happens with these games, right? If you don't update your game constantly, people go to other stuff. Uh, but like I said, I understandable. I'm not angry. I'm not mad, right? I get it, but it's just the nature of these games, right? Where like Pokemon Pocket understand this, right? If they don't update the game with a mini set every month, a big set every 2 months, and they don't have community events here, little stuff dailies you got to do, right? And this is where we're kind of Dofus and the dev team kind of falter. We're like they just can't keep up with games like that, and this is where Dofus is not that big of a household name, right? Because of that, right? But if the game is performing well as they say it is, how come that's not reflected with the resources they're putting into it? I just don't get it. I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you guys. All right, but at the end of the day, content is king, right? Content is king. Content is what keep games alive, players engaged. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. We'll keep going. Because even the labyrinth, I mean, that's not due until the end of the year. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if this has been pushed out as well. And speaking of the labyrinth, the last announcement about this topic was over 2 months ago. It's almost time to give you an update. We will have 2 new devlogs for you in the coming days and weeks. The first, we will provide you our latest progress and answer any questions received up to that point. The second, we deal with a more specific topic, the interfaces, with explanations and a slight more detailed look behind the scenes that will show you more about the project's technological functions in general. I think here, I think this is me. This is just me going on a tangent here. I think what they need to show with the labyrinth is show me how cool it is. Show me how fun it is, right? Start showing me some cool like video, some little clips of the labyrinth, right? This stuff is cool. I mean, technological fun, just yeah, sure, whatever. Show me how badass this is gonna be, right? Like I said, the Switch 2 just launched, and not launched, right? They did the whole Switch 2 reveal. They showed off the games. The games look freaking awesome. Like, oh shoot, I want to get a Switch 2. Do that for the labyrinth, right? Don't make it this technical mumbo jumbo. Show me how cool it is. In conclusion, and to summarize this post, we're making our best efforts to set things right on the last update and merge your servers as soon as possible under the best possible conditions. We are trying to put our affairs in order to guarantee that the updates for this year. As well, we are working on a 3-year schedule. Wait, what? As well, we are working on a 3-year schedule to take account of these setbacks and avoid negatively impacting you like this in the future. In the meantime, we will be back. Okay. So this refers to their production time phase. A 3-year schedule. That is, I don't know. I think it's kind of long. So what they're saying here is, so a 3-year schedule literally means, okay, when they plan to implement something, right? Say they want to implement, I don't know, the Emerald Dofus questline, right? They decide to implement that right now. They can start working on it, right? So they're gonna give themselves up to 2028 for this to be ready. That seems like a very long time. Like again, these kind of light service games, their bread and butter, their lifeblood is constant updates, right? Recently we saw Marvel Rivals hit the scene, updates all the time. All these games just constant update, but not Dofus Search. Dofus Search likes to take his sweet time, which is kind of good and bad because, like, you know, it puts a person like me, which I would consider myself at this point a casual fan, right, to take a break from the game and to have my attention somewhere else, right? And to potentially lose that person in the process because the updates are just so slow. And I just don't get it. I don't get why they're so slow. Especially since they're like reusing art assets too. Like, I'd be surprised if Dofus Touch has artists and designers to them, like visual designers, because Dofus Touch doesn't really create new assets, right? So it's like they're cutting off that portion of production. Maybe it's just a French thing and their work ethics. And I don't know. If somebody has an explanation, I would like to know. But that's my biggest pet peeve with the game. It's just like so slow with updates. In the meantime, okay, let's check out the comments here. Thank you for the clear and transparent communication in the game. Announcements for it. We, international community, really do appreciate it. Oh, shout out to this guy. Yep. It was good. I'm not. I don't have any contention to this. I'm glad. I wish they would do more of this stuff too. Thanks for the info. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Great work. All right, and there you guys have it, folks. In a nutshell, just more delays. So, but let me know how you're feeling about the game. Do you feel the same way I do, where you're kind of losing interest in the game just because there's not a whole lot to do? I know I am in a way where like I'm not really keeping up with updates. I know they do have the whole labyrinth thing going. Not the labyrinth, the laboratory, and let's see here. Announcements. Like this stuff, I'm not even like I'm not. This is yeah. I guess they're in the second wave with this stuff. Like my interest for the game is so low. Like I'm not. I didn't even log in to to do the first wave of this either. So there you go, folks. There you go. That is an update here. So, until next time, take care of yourself. Peace.